In this video, you will be modeling exponential growth and decay. Specifically, we'll do examples with half-life, doubling time, monetary growth, and population growth. To start, we want to talk about what it means to model something. When we want to model a real-world phenomenon, we like to choose a model or an equation that behaves the way the real-life phenomenon behaves. For example, in the case of rapid growth, we choose an exponential growth function, y equals a sub 0 e to the kt. In this model, the a sub 0 is equal to the value at time 0. E is Euler's constant, and k is a positive constant in the case of growth. On the other hand, if we have a quantity that's falling rapidly toward 0, but does not ever reach 0, then we use an exponential decay model. It's the exact same model, the only difference is that now k is a negative constant that determines the rate of decay. We may use exponential decay when we're calculating the half-life, or the time it takes a substance to exponentially decay to half of its original quantity. Radioactive isotopes all have their own half-life. So, to find the half-life of a function describing exponential decay, we solve the following equation. We have a 1/2 a sub 0 equals a sub 0 e to the kt. The reason for this is this expression on the left says we want half of the initial amount. We find the half-life. When we do this, we divide through by a sub 0, and we get 1/2 equals e to the kt. We now write this in logarithmic form using a natural log because we have the base of e, and we get the natural log of 1/2 is equal to the exponent kt, and then we divide by k, and we get that the time it takes to decay to half the amount is the natural log of 1/2 divided by k. It's interesting that the half-life actually depends only on the constant k and not on the starting quantity a sub 0. We can also write this model as t being negative the natural log of 2 over k. That's simply because the natural log of 1/2, using our rules of logarithms, is the natural log of 1 minus the natural log of 2, and the natural log of 1 is 0. So if we're given a half-life, we are able to find the decay rate in a similar fashion. First, we write a equals a sub 0 e to the kt, and we replace the a with 1/2 a sub 0, and replace t by the given half-life. Then we solve to find k, and we always express k as an exact value, and we do not round. Rounding is going to give us a lot of error when we're talking about an exponential function. We can also find the decay rate using k equals the negative of the natural log of 2 over t. That really is just taking our t equals the negative natural log of 2 over k and rewriting it. So we multiply both sides by k, and then we divide both sides by t. Okay, so if we have the half-life of carbon-14 being 5,730 years, let's express the amount of carbon-14 remaining as a function of time t. So in this particular case, we're first going to find K. So we're going to say the half-life, so 1/2 a sub 0 equals a sub 0 e to the k times 5,730 years. Dividing the a sub 0 out, we'll get a 1/2 equals e to the 5,730k, and then writing this in logarithmic form using a natural log, we get the natural log of 1/2 is 5,730k, or minus the natural log of 2 over 5,730 equals k. So we're going to leave this in this form, and then I'm going to express the amount of carbon-14 remaining as a function of time t, and we'll say A equals a sub 0 e to the minus the natural log of 2 over 5,730 times t. This now will give the amount of carbon-14 remaining as a function of time. In our next example, we're going to use the value of A. A bone fragment is found that contains 20% of its original carbon-14. To the nearest year, how old is the bone? So we're going to start with this model. A equals a sub 0 e to the minus ln 2 over 5,730 times t, but in place of a, we're going to put 0.2 a sub 0. So we're going to say we want the amount at the end to be 20% of what it started with. So just like before, we'll divide out the a sub 0, and we'll get 0.2 equals e to the minus the natural log of 2, 5,730 t. And since I'm solving for something that's in the exponent, I'll rewrite this in log form. The natural log of 0.2 is minus the natural log of 2 over 5,730 times t. And then to solve for t, I will multiply by the reciprocal, 5,730 over the negative natural log of 2. At this point, we can use our calculator to solve for t. I get t is approximately 13,304.6 years. And so to the nearest year, the bone is 1,305 years old. Let's now turn to doubling time. Doubling time would be exponential growth. So in this case, our k value is going to be a positive value. And we are going to solve the basic equation 2 times a sub 0 equals a sub 0 e to the kt. Again, if I divide by a sub 0, I get 2 equals e to the kt, and I can take the natural log of both sides. Natural log of 2 equals kt, and I can solve for either k or t. So k would be the natural log of 2 over t, and t would be the natural log of 2 over k. Here's our first example. According to Moore's law, the doubling time for the number of transistors that can be put on a computer chip is approximately 2 years. give a function that describes this behavior. So again, we're going to start with 2a sub 0 equals a sub 0 e to the k times 2, because we know that it's 2 years for the initial amount to be double the initial amount. We will divide by a sub 0 and get 2 equals e to the 2k, and writing it in logarithmic form, the natural log of 2 equals 2k, and k is the natural log of 2 over 2. So notice I could have also used this formula and said that k is the natural log of 2 divided by the doubling time t. Once I have that, I'm going to put that into the model. A equals a sub 0 e to the natural log of 2 over 2 times t. This will give the behavior of the doubling time for the number of transistors that can be put on a computer chip. Let's now turn our attention to population growth. Population growth grows exponentially, so our k value is going to be positive, and we'll do this following example. In 2013, the population of a country located on the west coast of Africa was about 25.2 million, and the exponential growth rate was 2.19% per year. Find the exponential growth function and estimate the population in 2018, and then answer the question, after how long will the population double what it was in 2013? So one thing that we often do when we're doing things with years, like 2013 and 2018, is we let year 0 be our initial year, or in this case, 2013. I do need to say that, and that way when we're all done, our model will be years since 2013. So we're going to start with our exponential growth function. A equals a sub 0 e to the kt. We know that our a sub 0, our initial amount, is 25.2 million. And that our growth rate, which is our k value, is 0.0219. Don't forget to change that to that decimal representation of the percentage. And we have our model. A equals 25.2 e to the 0.0219t, and then we'll say where t is the years since 2013. So this is our model. To answer the second question, we want to know the population in 2018, which is 5 years since 2013. So what we're going to do is take our model and let t equal 5. So I'm going to say A equals 25.2 e to the 0.0219 times 5, and I'll use my calculator, and we'll get 28.1 million, because that was the units that we were working with. So in 2018, the estimated population is 28.1 million. In the third question, after how long will the population double what it was in 2013? Well, there are two ways that I could approach this. We know that our doubling time, t, is the natural log of 2 divided by k. So in this case, that's the natural log of 2 divided by 0.0219, and we get t is approximately 31.7 years since 2013, because remember our t was the years since 2013, and so if we add 2013 to the 31.7, we'll say in 2045, the population will be double the 2013 population. For our last example, let's take a look at continuous compounding. So you may have seen this formula before. When we're talking about an exponential growth function, we usually say a sub 0 e to the kt, and we change this just slightly when we're talking about money, and we say y equals p for the principal or the initial amount, e to the rt, because our growth rate k is our percentage rate r. So suppose that we have $2,000 invested at interest rate k, compounded continuously, and it grows to $2,504.65 in 5 years. Let's solve for the interest rate. So we're going to say 2504.65, that's how much we'll have at the end of the time period, is 2,000 e to the r times 5. So we'll start by dividing by 2,000. I get 1.252325. And I'm not rounding that because I don't want any compounding error. Now I'll write this in logarithmic form. The natural log of 1.252325 is 5r, and then I'll divide by 5. So we have the natural log of 1.252325 divided by 5 is r. That's the exact value. If I wanted to know an approximation, which in this case is probably what we want, 0.045, and if I want to turn that into a percentage rate, it's 4.5%. Using that interest rate, we can now write an exponential growth function. Y equals 2,000 e to the 0.045 t. So this is modeling exponential growth. If I wanted to know the balance after 10 years, I would let t equal 10. So we'll say y equals 2,000 e. If I put a 10 in there, I'm going to get 0.45. And I use my calculator. And we'll get approximately $3,136.62 after 10 years. And then to answer the question, how long will it take the $2,000 to have doubled, we can use our doubling formula. T equals the natural log of 2 divided by k, which is 0.045. And we get 15.4 years. I will create an additional video using Newton's law of cooling. That concludes this video.